this is Kaljes von Kreatives Leben, and today I would like to create a little zine. This is for a friend from a Facebook group. We exchange zines, and this is like a kind of creating a proof that I really create something for her because lately we have not been very lucky. I didn't receive the last three posts, and she hasn't received my last two posts. So I don't dare send it to her yet before we have solved this mystery. So what you see me do is I had created a jelly plate print on a normal page of paper. I think the colors were red and pink and blue. And I took a picture of it, and then I took an app called Brush Stroke and altered, changed the colors, made some, played around, and that's what you see, what I printed out. And then I thought now I can do more, I can do some stamping, and I put down some colors. And now what you see me doing is taking some tissue paper and gluing the pages together. For whatever reason, I never glue the pages in the inside. I prefer to just take the paper and wrap it around and then glue it down, and that way making sure that the pages stick together. I don't know if that makes sense. That's the way I do it. And the what I don't like when I work with zines is you have to be very careful that your pages don't stick together. I'm a very impatient person, and I don't do one page at a time. I usually do a page and then I move on because I want the other page to be similar. I want everything to be in one, to look the same, and to do it in the flow. And that's why I usually go back and forth. But that's not a very good idea because it means the pages tend to stick together. So I need to be careful, and that's why that's the best way to dry your pages when you do a zine. And you can see even then I go back and say, oh, I want to stick my pages together. So I went and I had lunch, and I while I was eating, I thought, what can I do? And not this page, but the other pages had a lot of a very pale teal, and I really liked that, and therefore I decided to take this tissue paper with these lovely birds. And it's spring here in Germany, at least it's pretending to be spring, or the start of spring, and I thought it would be a good idea to use these. So I have taken my brush, wetted it, went around my tissue paper, and that's how I created these five different pictures without a rough border. So I'm quite pleased with almost every pages. I feel that the places where the blue is very dark, that's where I'm not very happy. I don't think it fits well. But that's why I went back and I tried to use paint to make it more cohesive, if that makes sense. But there are other pages that are more pastel, that have more pastel colors, and there it fits very well. So here again, I tried to glue every bird at the same time, so that's a little bit of a challenge. And I'm now going back with some teal that I have mixed with white because I wanted to get more into this very light teal that we see in the background of the tissue paper. Uh, but it becomes too bland to my taste, so I go back and forth, and I use the permanent rosé here. So I like a good punchy color once in a while, and that's why I had to go back. So I'm playing around, and it's just making sure that the border isn't as harsh And you can see even now it's not perfect, so I will have to go back for a few times and just to make sure that it mixes well. But for certain pages like this one, it looks like, it always has been like that. This bird looks beautiful. I really like that page. So here I'm still a bit struggling. I'm not happy. It's really very different. It feels like it's not cohesive at all. So that's a page I will be going back to very often. Um, that's when I decided, I think, that I needed some dark blue. I don't think I had used dark blue before. So I got up and basically, you know, found a color that was very similar, and now I'm mixing it on the page, as you can see here, and now it looks very different. Now it looks like this is, yes, this works. It's okay when there is like a hello around the bird. That's okay, but it shouldn't be like too wide, I think. So here I'm playing around because I like a little bit darker colors, and this page, as I was saying, I didn't like at all. So I decided to make it like this would be a lake or a sea, and I really like that combination. That works for me, and with a little bit of green, and yeah, that now it's coming together. I feel at least the key points are there now, and there is not much missing. Um, what I'm doing now is because I was thinking the only thing that I need to make different are the birds. I decided not to paint on them with acrylic paint because I felt that they were too subtle to use acrylic paint. Therefore, I decided to put some transparent gesso, and then originally I wanted to use pastel, and then I decided against pastel and went back first with Inktense, but even the Inktense I decided not to go with water, and then I decided just to take my very plain color pencils. And the ones that I'm using are Holbein. I really love these. They are very pale pastel Holbein paints or color pencils. And they have exactly the colors of my little birds. And I really like that. So I'm just, putting more color, and it almost looks like I have painted them or drawn them. So you know that I haven't, but maybe Stephanie will think I did. No, I don't think so. But it's again, I encourage you to, even if you think you cannot paint, you can cheat. That's okay to cheat. And the more you will do it, the less you will need it. That's the nice thing, because it's muscle memory, right? As people say, you don't your brain gets used to drawing a bird, and then you don't need to think about it. So what I felt was missing, something that I like doing in my little zines, I like to have a little story. For me, they're like little booklets, like little stories, and maybe one day I will write a proper story or fairy tale, for example. But today, basically, for me, it was about traveling. The birds reminded me of traveling, so it has become my little spring travel zine, and basically it's around all topics around traveling. So the title is traveling, and then it's about discovering the world and remembering the travels that you're doing. And here I'm basically saying the end. Yeah, so it's the end for us as well. So you will have some close-ups of the little zine. It shows you the details of the colors of the birds, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and of course, feel free to leave me a message. As usual, I love reading them, and I will reply. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.